Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm on my way to town, and I just wanted to talk about stepping out of your estimate. We are so bombarded with thoughts daily, all day long. All day long we have, I don't know about women. I don't know about men, but I know women. We have there's probably an unsurmountable, endless amount of variables that go through our head, especially if you're a mother, especially if you're transitioning from your 30s to your 40s or your 20s to your 30s. There's so many ideologies and things that or personas that we think we're supposed to be living up to, that we could probably drive ourselves crazy in our own head. I know I can make myself think about some things and cry or get angry or get frustrated or just not even want to get up the next day. I talk myself out of the day that's coming before because I start thinking about all the things I have to do that day. And I remember me and a friend sitting down talking, and it was a very, very, very tumultuous time. And she just was basically like, you know what, when I went through something, I had a friend of mine said, like, how do you eat an elephant? One day, one bite at a time. And probably not even one bite at a time will you finish it, but collectively and with a community and with a group, you can devour an elephant, right? I have another friend that says two people can whoop Muhammad Ali. So together and in community, there are a lot of things and variables that we can overcome. So stepping out of your estimate takes a lot of transparency as well, because in our heads, nobody knows what's going on in our heads. I had an uncle that used to crack me up. He said, it ain't what you say that bothers me, it's what you're not saying. When a person's quiet, you don't know what they're thinking. And when you're alone with your thoughts, again, nobody knows what you're thinking but you. And that is where the battlefield and the war begins to take place. The battlefield is engaged in your mind. And I was just up this morning and getting ready to, again, come to town. And I was in the shower and I was just thinking, I was like, you know what? Moses, like a great leader, led the children of Israel out of the wilderness, and he wasn't even able to go into the promised land because he tapped the rock twice. And all of this is because of variables and temperaments and frustration and not consulting, not listening intensely, especially when the weight of what you're doing is huge. What you're getting ready to do has so many other people's posterity attached to it. You'll be securing those things that will happen for generations to come. You'll be the trailblazer for certain things. So stepping out of your estimate, we underestimate ourselves, women, men. We underestimate ourselves to the point where we'll talk ourselves out of doing things. We'll procrastinate so long that we won't do it because we say, a person's not ready for that. When you're given a dream, it is a foresight of what is to come. It is a foresight of what you don't have the power to do, but your creator has the power to do. And we so often limit our creator because we think of him in such a finite capacity. Our creator created with words, with a vibration, the heavens, the earth, the moon, the stars. The water obeys him. It goes to the shore and back and doesn't go any further. The moon, the sun, the seasons obey. We underestimate the creative power that we possess as well in the hands of the master. We can't do anything outside of ourselves. We can manipulate the order. We can make things look like they're good. But believe me, when you manipulate manipulate the order of operation, and when you do things in your own power, you don't have the power to sustain it. You don't have the sustainability power like your creator does. So stepping out of our estimate means stepping out as far as we can go, and it might be a cliff there, and trusting that he says, I got you. I got you. I've equipped you with all the tools. I got you. I got you. Stepping out there on faith. Stepping out there past those thoughts and the lies that you've played in your mind, like, oh, people don't want to hear this, or I'm not ready for this, or people aren't ready for this. That's why there has to be leaders, because you have to push people past their estimates. People don't know the power they possess until they're pushed to their limits, until adversity comes. My brother-in-law was over last night, and he was talking about the ecology of trees and plants and vegetation, and why certain things don't grow, and how you plant things east to west and not north to south, and facing the sun, and going in the direction that the wind blows, because even the wind plays a part in a tree becoming strong. If the wind does not blow that tree will not sink its roots deep enough into the soil to sustain being anchored. So the same thing with us. I hope nobody don't see my little clothes. I'm going to the wash house right now because we live multi-gen living, and so sometimes you might wash a load here, a load there. I don't like clothes to pile up, and it's more than 2, 3, 4, 5 people in the house. So that might be what you see in the background. That's another thing. The estimate. Presentation is everything to me. So today I'm looking all kinds of probably crazy, getting ready to go to the wash house, go to the shop, get my hair done. But this was just something I wanted to get out, because I myself am very guilty of it. Not stepping out of my estimate, kind of doing something, and once it happens, like, it can't be as big as I've dreamed of it being. But I'll never know unless I do it. And so every time I've thought that way, in that capacity, and have limited or almost tried to limit, because I could do anything, but when I say is without faith it's impossible to please him. He wouldn't be pleased knowing that I say I trust him, but then when certain things happen, I don't ask, or I don't call on him and ask him to reveal to me a more excellent way, or just to show me what it is, of just a shadow of what it is he has planned for me. Because a friend does not leave a friend in the dark, and I'm a friend of I am his friend, he's my friend, as long as we're walking in obedience together. So yes, we need to learn as women, men, to step out of our estimate, to quit allowing what we are used to be the status quo. Just because I used to do something, or because I'm used to a certain type of behavior or personality, doesn't mean that I'm supposed to stay there. Life is the word is line upon line, precept upon precept. Life is levels and upon levels too. Stairs have steps. You go up. You don't want to keep going down the stairs. You want to go up to see how far they go, right? I know I do. I want to see what is before me. I want to see what is for me. I don't want to keep eating the same cold, served up, leftover situations. I just don't. So that was just something that I really, really, really it was just really on my heart. I just really had to get it out. Stepping out of our estimate, the things that we think about ourselves, the lies people have told us. You stupid. You think you better than other people. You think you know everything. No, I don't think I know everything, but I know enough. I know enough to know that some things in some places, and some people, in some situations, in some conversations, some company is not worth keeping. I know better. I know enough to know that if you keep doing the same thing over and over and keep getting the same results, that is insanity. So I don't want that label. I know that even when I don't think that anybody is watching or listening, they are watching and listening. I know that. I have learned that. We are observational. I've learned most of the things that I think I know, I've learned by observation and listening. And then some of the stuff was hands-on. But there were some things I know I didn't have to do. Like when I saw certain things happen to other people, I knew it didn't have to make a believer out of me. I saw that it could happen. I am not exempt. Stepping out of your estimate is the challenge this week. Step out of your estimate. Step into the unknown. Healthy unknowns, please. Don't say you told me to step into the unknown and it was destructive. Don't do that. I am never going to propagate destructive behavior. And no, I'm not perfect. And when I'm in one of those moves, that's why nobody hears from me. Because, yeah, I'm human. But it's just, I love to see other people win. I love to see a person excel and progress past the limitations they put on themselves. Mothers, fathers, this is to mothers and fathers, because a lot of time children or even us don't see ourselves in the capacity that we possess. And when you have a child, you can look at certain children. Don't mean you don't love all of your children, because I do. I love mine to a fault. And I don't know if that would be politically correct, because they didn't ask to be here. But you can look at your children and you know which one has that thing. Which one is going to defy all obstacles and limits, because just in their mind, nobody has told them that they can't. And the only person that can really limit them is environment, and that means the one that you raise them in, and the things you say to them. If you don't ever tell them they can fail, they don't think they can. Because honey, I got one that's Superman. And all of the behaviors aren't super, but in his mind he believes that he can do these things. And I used to tell him the sky was the limit, but I didn't tell him to do some of the things that he's chosen to do. So with the children, I've never told them what they couldn't do. I pushed them past their limits. And then sometimes I sit back and I would suppress certain things that were in me, because I didn't grow up like that. I grew up with the glass ceiling, with the discouragement, because I grew up with parents that were raised in an era where they thought that constructive was how you built. And then I was the child with the personality. If you told me I couldn't do something, I was going to do it, and then some. So, I don't know. The children do come with instructions, because you have to watch them. You have to see the gifts and the abilities in them, and you have to nurture them. And a lot of times, most of our parents, grandparents, have come out of an era of post-traumatic slave syndrome, post-traumatic stress. We've been really oppressed, and our thinking has been convoluted. We've been indoctrinated and not been able to freely think. And so whenever there has been, or a free thinker has come, and you can see the leadership qualities in our community, you see what happens to them. They either have to conform or they're killed. We've seen that. We've just witnessed that with one of this generation's greatest voices for, I believe, the millennials. Teaching them to invest, teaching them to build communities, teaching them to care about their communities, to give back, teaching them that you can't become something that you haven't seen. And so many of us are dealing with that, where we haven't had that encouragement. And when a person gets a platform and is able to express that and convey that across, and it is received, and people are starting to reciprocate what they see and hear, it looks dangerous to those on the outside because they're afraid to lose position and power. So a lot of times we'll suppress ourselves, and we will sit on the back burner and push someone else into their excellence, into their purpose, and we will digress. My challenge to you again today is step into your excellence, step out of your estimate, love you. Don't try to do what someone else is doing. Do what's in your heart to do. Do what will secure your future, because nothing is more important than a name. Nothing is more important than you being who you were created to be. Stay out of other people's lanes. That's how you have wrecks. Stop looking backwards. Stop looking in the rear view. What woulda, coulda, shoulda. If you're still here past the things that you've been through, push past them and keep going. Don't forget. Don't ever forget, because if you forget, you'll fall back into that same pattern. Pay attention to the clues and to the nuances. When people say something, watch what they do. And again, have a wonderful day and step out of your estimate.